Thank you. And I come to the floor today to express my strong support for the legislation we're debating and that will restore economic opportunity, create jobs, help grow the business, and help every Nevadan as they work to achieve the American dream. And as a member of the Senate Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs Committee, I tell you that this legislation is years in the making, and I do want to thank the chairman of the committee, Chairman Crapo, and my fellow colleagues that are on the committee for their efforts to get us where we are today. Now, for years, the economy had been growing slowly after the Great Recession. It was like a truck with a bad transmission. It was moving, but it wasn't going to go anywhere fast. And today, everything has changed. The American economy has been primed. The engine has been started. Through the work of the Senate and this president, President Trump, the gas pedal has been hit. Our economy is finally going full speed ahead. Just a few months ago, we passed historic tax cuts for Nevada families and for Nevada businesses. A typical Nevada family of four will roughly get a $2,200 tax cut. We lowered the individual rates across the board, doubled the standard deduction, used by most Nevadans, allowing them to keep more of their paycheck. This bill's also included my efforts to double the child tax credit from $1,000 to $2,000, further easing the tax burden on working families. Overall, these tax cuts accomplished my three major goals: creating more jobs, increasing wages, and making America more competitive around the world. And I'm proud to have worked on these tax cuts, but Congress can do more, and Mr. President, that is why we are here today. The Economic Growth, Regulatory Relief, and Consumer Protection Act that we are debating is the next major step that we must take to shift our economy into another gear. This bipartisan bill tailors financial regulations to protect consumers and help Nevadans who have more access to financial resources, more access to economic opportunities. It will give Nevadans more choices when it comes to finding a loan for a house, perhaps to buy a car, to get to work, to start a business, and for that matter, even to grow their business. And finally, this bill helps to ensure that local lenders can grow their services to every community in Nevada. This is the oil in the economic engine. It keeps not only cities like Las Vegas, Henderson, and Reno running, but all communities in Nevada, like Mesquite, Pahrump, Carson City, Fallon, Elko, and Ely. This bill includes many bipartisan proposals that I've fought for, and I'm pleased at the legislation that I offered with Senator Menendez to ease workforce mobility for mortgage loan officers who wish to move to Nevada or to change jobs was included in the base text. In committee, I offered an amendment that was based off the legislation I worked with Senator Warner that will require that regulators for credit unions to publish their annual budgets and to hold a public hearing on that budget. It would increase public transparency, ensure that Nevada credit unions have a voice here in Washington, D.C. Working with my friend Senator Tester, we were able to include language to increase congressional oversight of the Federal Reserve and Treasury Department in order to ensure our best interests are represented at international insurance discussions on capital standards. I was also pleased that language authored by Senator Perdue, Tester, Donnelly, and myself was incorporated to require consumer credit bureaus to provide free and timely security credit freezes to all consumers. It also requires credit bureaus to provide consumers a notice at any time of their consumer rights, and for the credit bureaus to tell consumers on their websites that they have a right to request a security freeze, fraud alert, and an active duty military fraud alert. Additionally, this bill includes the Community Lender Exam Act that I co-led with Senator Donnelly, which would allow more highly rated community lenders to be examined every 18 months instead of 12 months. This will help safe and sound local lenders to direct more of their time and capital to Nevada communities and ensure the same level of regulatory supervision. Mr. President, with this bill, we're seeing something rare in Washington, D.C. Democrats and Republicans working together to help Americans have more economic opportunities. Let me say that again. This bill will help Americans have more economic opportunities. And that's why I'm here in the Senate, Mr. President, to give every Nevadan the opportunity to live the fullest life and to achieve their goals. I look forward to voting to support this legislation and would encourage all my colleagues to do the same. And thank you. With that, Mr. President, I yield the floor.